Around BVA, Louisiana, Mississippi supports conference to prevent veteran suicide by Gary Schollerman and Galen Bulletin. The Louisiana, Mississippi Regional Group has been working with the Louisiana Department of Veterans Affairs, LDVA, for the last year. LDVA is the first contact for many Louisiana veterans and refers veterans to the nearest VA medical center or veteran service organization as needed. LDVA has been inviting us to many of its functions and even sent a representative to the recent BVA National Convention. LDVA also joined the regional group for its World War II Museum tour and the Alexandria VA Medical Center's October 14 celebration and expo on Blind Americans Equality Day, or White Cane Day. The regional group plans on nurturing this relationship and hopes to secure additional support for BVA. On September 9, the Louisiana Department of Veterans Affairs held its annual Suicide Prevention Conference, and the BVA Louisiana-Mississippi Regional Group was invited to attend. We asked Galen "Gatorbug" Bulletin to attend and represent the regional group, which he did very well. Gatorbug was able to make a few comments on blindness at the conference. We all have become aware of the prevalence of suicide among veterans. We also know that the figures are high among the blind, especially those newly blinded or recently experiencing loss of sight. Gatorbug has a new recording of the conference for anyone desiring information beyond his summary as follows. Today, people think it's an option to commit suicide if the mood fits. People are glad to turn a blind eye if it isn't them. The fact is that this topic should bother all of us. People from all walks of life are thinking that they can't go on and that nobody cares. They think suicide is the only way out. They're wrong. There is a video on YouTube of someone who jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge and lived. He said that the instant he let go of the rail, he knew he really hadn't wanted to do it, but it was too late. Many people who consider suicide don't want to kill themselves, but they don't know it until it's too late. They also think it won't hurt anyone but them. They are also wrong about that. Look at the lives that are ruined because of it. Fortunately, there are many getting involved now in letting such people know how much they are valued. The 5th Annual Suicide Prevention Summit was held in Baton Rouge at the American Legion, Nicholson Post 38. It was organized by Larry Williams of the Louisiana Department of Veterans Affairs and sponsored by the Tulane University Center for Brain Health, which provided lunch for all attendees. River Road Coffee donated fresh coffee throughout the day. The summit started off great and ended in similar fashion. It was well thought out, perfectly executed, and supported by several participating vendors. I was overwhelmed to find out how many groups are out there offering help to our veterans who think they can't go on. Special thanks to Tony Bacalla, a member of the Louisiana House of Representatives for District 59 in Ascension Parish, who came to learn what he could about suicide prevention. Several vendors even offered training in what to ask, how to listen, and even what signs to look for. Much of this training is not only for veterans, but for first responders and common people, meaning people from all walks of life. In many cases, we would not believe that particular people we know are contemplating suicide. If you yourself are one who has these thoughts, or would like to get involved in helping those who do, I would tell you this: you can make a difference. And thanks to summits like this, you can find out how. If you would like to get a copy of the summit, please contact me, Galen Bulletin of the Louisiana-Mississippi Regional Group, at gatorbug51@gmail.com. Suicide is a serious problem. Will you be part of the solution? BVA offers input for National Story. Executive Director Don Overton contributed to a USA Today article published October 19 and entitled Blind to Problems. VA's new medical record system is shutting out visually impaired patients. The article, written by Darius Tahir of Kaiser Health News, details the potential difficulties that more than 1 million veterans may encounter as they attempt to use VA's new digital health record system developed by Oracle Cerner. Two of the more prevalent issues are that screens do not allow users to zoom in on the text and that screen reader software translating text to speech isn't compatible. None of the systems are accessible to these patients, Don is quoted as saying, as patients often struggle even to log into websites or enter basic information needed to check in for hospital visits. We find that our community stops trying, checks out, and disengages, the end result being dependence on other individuals and giving up the independence we're always seeking. Because of the problems, the developing VA medical record system has been delayed until June 2023. Regional groups recognize, share vital role of white cane safety. A photo accompanies this around BVA entry. The photo's major focus is a display table containing information about BVA, a Braille flag, and a book written by Ken Asom entitled See What I See. The table is draped with a cloth designed so that the BVA logo and emblem are seen at the front. Immediately behind the table, 4 adults are seen standing. To their left is an easel with a framed poster containing additional information about BVA. The caption reads, "Left to right behind BVA white cane display in West Los Angeles, Bros. Beatrice Sanchez Fields, Southern California Regional Group First Vice President Gary Simpson, President Ken Asom, and Supervisory Blind Rehabilitation Specialist Ted Zadorian." The brief report begins. Special receptions, programs, and walks commemorating White Cane Awareness Day, now known also as Blind Americans Equality Day, have involved several BVA regional groups in different parts of the country. The activities typically occur at VA medical facilities, state and local government agencies, community centers, shopping centers, schools, and other organizations of and for the blind. The official date of October 15, this year falling on a Saturday, moved some of the commemorative events to later in the month. Although complete accounts of all the activities are still not in just yet, the Captain Buddy Spivey Razorback and Southern California regional groups have both reported successful participation. In Arkansas, the State Division of Services for the Blind hosts a program for White Cane Awareness Day. The program consists of various speakers addressing the topic of the white cane. The Central Arkansas Veterans Health Care Services, CAVHS, is usually asked to furnish a veteran to speak. CAVHS, in turn, asked the regional group to provide a speaker. The request was accepted, and Treasurer James Lee represented the regional group with a 20-minute informal delivery of What the Cane Means to Me, a Veteran, that was both seen live and via Zoom. In the main lobby of the West Los Angeles VA Medical Center, the Southern California Regional Group teamed up with Blind Rehabilitation Outpatient Specialist Beatrice Sanchez and Supervisory Blind Rehabilitation Specialist Ted Zadorian at 2 display tables. The purpose was simply to increase awareness of the importance of the white cane. The target groups were the VA medical staff and veterans visiting the medical center, most of whom were not familiar with the VIST program or BVA. The VIST staff screened several veterans for potential eligibility for the program. The BVA team met a potential new member and is now following up on the lead. Hornick joins BVA staff, launches Vet Tech. A photo of a broadly smiling gentleman with a black guide dog has been placed with this Around BVA entry. A tan-colored wall is visible in the background. The man is wearing a brown BVA t-shirt and blue jeans. He is seen kneeling on his right knee, while his left foot is firmly planted on the floor. The head of the dog is resting on the man's left thigh. The photo caption states, Tim Hornick and his guide dog, Barney, in BVA makeshift office at 77th National Convention. Additional details related to the photo are as follows. BVA's long-awaited Vet Tech program, an idea in the mix of desired initiatives for some time, lifted off on October 5 with a presentation by ORCAM's Michelle Mendez, National Director of Sales for the United States. The impetus behind the effort, which consists of a weekly presentation and podcast series that will frequently feature guests, is newly appointed Director of Special Initiatives, Timothy Hornick. Tim is a former BVA Director of District 2 and most recently a staff member of the Western Blind Rehabilitation Center in Palo Alto, California. He officially joined BVA on August 22. Supplementing the Vet Tech Wednesday presentations are twice-monthly Vet Tech talk sessions held on Thursdays at the same 2 p.m. Eastern Time start. The link to enter the sessions is the same as for the Wednesday meetings. In contrast to the more formal Wednesday presentations, Vet Tech Talk is community-driven, ensuring that content is focused on participants' questions and goals. The Vet Tech team will gather participants, suggestions, and thoughts in shaping the future of the series. For more information, contact Tim Hornick at thornik@bva.org or visit https://bva.org and link to information on Vet Tech. Wade Davis named Interim Director. A name familiar to many in BVA circles now appears among those of the BVA Board of Directors. Wade Davis, a resident of LaPorte, Texas, and a recent president of the Greater Houston Regional Group, has been appointed Interim Director of District 4 in the position recently vacated by Kevin Jackson. He will serve in the post until the next District 4 election. Wade is a U.S. Army veteran of the Vietnam era. He served in the Army Security Agency with a top-secret security clearance and was honorably discharged on December 28, 1971, as a Sergeant E5. Following his discharge from the Army, Wade enrolled in Texas Bible College with a major in theology. While at the college, he met his wife, Brenda. They have 2 children and 5 grandchildren. In 1995, Wade began to lose his sight and was referred to the Texas Commission for the Blind. With the commission's help, he was able to work an additional 13 years. In 2008, his sight loss had reached a point at which he could no longer perform his work duties. Wade joined BVA in 2009 as a member of the Greater Houston Regional Group. In 2010, he attended the VA Southwestern BRC in Tucson, his first experience at a BRC. In 2012, he became the treasurer of the Greater Houston Regional Group. He was elected president of the group in January 2018 and served until January 2022. Until 2012, Wade became a volunteer BVA Veteran Service Officer at the Houston VA Medical Center. 1 year later, he accepted a paid position to do the same work and continued to be stationed in Houston. In 2015, organizational changes with BVA's field service program offered both him and Brenda the opportunity to work at BVA National Headquarters as veteran service officers, Wade in the BVA office in Alexandria and Brenda at the VA Appeals Management Center in Washington, D.C. In 2016, Wade took on additional responsibilities as the Veterans Care Review Coordinator, doing site inspections of VA's BRCs and Visor clinics. He retired from BVA employment in January 2022. With the goal of influencing changes in Texas law, Wade has worked with the Texas Governor's Committee on People with Disabilities in clarifying the definitions of service animals and emotional support animals and how they differ from one another. He has also worked with a work-study group to improve guide dog handlers' experiences with Uber. Wade looks forward to serving on the BVA National Board of Directors and working with the regional groups of District 4. Mims Murphy present Braille flags in Texas. 2 photos accompany this blurb. The first reveals a casually dressed blinded veteran with a guide dog seated under a canvas tent outdoors. A second gentleman in a blue-colored suit and tie is seen standing and speaking with him. Although the chairs near him are vacant, several people are seen in the background talking with one another or setting up equipment. Another tent protecting additional chairs from possible rain is visible in the background. The caption reads, Senate Committee on Veterans Affairs Ranking Member Jerry Moran recognized Paul Mims and took the time to converse with him at Kansas City, Kansas ribbon-cutting event. Also pictured Guide Dog Shadow. The second photo reveals 2 ladies in front of the outdoor sign of a VA community-based outpatient clinic. Based on some evident squinting and hair that seems to be slightly out of place, the autumn day appears to be both sunny and at least slightly windy. The lady on the left is holding a white cane, and the lady on the right is holding up a Braille flag. Both are wearing scarves, one of which is designed much like a U.S. flag. The caption reads, Jeannie Murphy, left, and Sandra Wood, chaplain of the Veterans of Foreign Wars Auxiliary Post 1786, Manhattan, Kansas, unveil Braille flag donated by BVA's Heartland Regional Group. The blurb begins. National Vice President Paul Mims presented a bronze Braille U.S. flag at the opening of a new VA community-based outpatient clinic in Kansas City, Kansas on July 8. Paul resides in the Kansas City area, but a short drive from the new clinic, which will offer primary care, labs, pharmacies, and both telehealth and behavioral health services. Present at the ribbon-cutting event was Senate Committee on Veterans Affairs Ranking Member Jerry Moran, R., Kansas, who recognized as part of the ceremony both the significance of the Braille flag as well as Paul Mims' service to veterans nationally and within the Heartland Regional Group. I appreciate all Mr. Mims does for veterans in Kansas and across our country, and I look forward to displaying a replica of the bronze Braille flag in my office, Senator Moran said. The flag presentation was part of the American Braille Flag Project, ABFP, an initiative of Georgia Regional Group member Walt Peters, who served 3 tours in Vietnam. The mission of the project, now assisted also by Paul Kaminsky, Florida Regional Group and formerly BVA's Director of District 5, is to assure that a bronze copy of the Braille flag be placed in every VA facility throughout the country and in classrooms where blind and low-vision students can experience it by a touch of their fingers. ABFP also made a stop in eastern Kansas at the Lieutenant General Richard Seitz VA community-based outpatient clinic of Junction City, Kansas on October 14. Heartland Regional Group President Jeannie Murphy and her husband Robert, Vice President of the National BVA Auxiliary, participated in the ceremony with blinded veterans Steve Smith and Bob Morin. The selection of October 14 as the date for the Junction City donation and ceremony was fitting with Blind Americans Equality Day falling on Saturday, October 15. The American Braille Flag Project's motto is Raising the Flag for All to See. For more information about the project, visit https://afpb.us. BVA regional groups across the country have supported the ideas and vision behind the project, donating Braille flags in various VA facilities and educational institutions. The flags are the brainchild of Randolph Cabral and produced by the nonprofit Kansas Braille Transcription Institute, which he founded in 1995. Flag presented at museum grand opening. Despite its relative simplicity, an accompanying photo adds to the significance of this Around BVA entry. Standing side by side, left to right, are two gentlemen and then a lady at the far right in front of a background that is half blue and half a light brown color. The first man is wearing a BVA cap and holding a white cane in his right hand and displaying a Braille flag in the other. The man in the middle, who has a name badge around his neck, is also holding up his end of the flag. The lady is holding up the customary donated plaque. The descriptive caption says, Left to right at National Vietnam War Museum, Gary Scholerman, Jim Messenger, and Morel Scholerman. This entry begins. Gary Scholerman, Louisiana-Mississippi Regional Group, was one of more than 300 present as the National Vietnam War Museum held its grand opening on June 25. The purpose, once again, presentation of one or more bronze Braille U.S. flag and identifying plaque. Because of 104-degree heat at the outdoor ceremony and delays due to problems with the audio, everything was halted early, and I was not able to speak before the large group as previously scheduled, Gary said. The trip from Breaux Bridge, Louisiana, to the entrance of Fort Walters in Weatherford, Texas, was not in vain, however, as Gary later presented the flag, plaque, and several dozen BVA brochures to Dr. Jim Messenger, treasurer of the National Vietnam War Museum Project, and now treasurer of the new museum itself. Plans for the museum were formalized in 1998 to develop a national venue that would create an atmosphere of learning about the Vietnam War era and engage people of all ages, nationalities, and political points of view. Dr. Messenger apologized for not allowing me to present the flag and speak before the crowd, but he was sensitive to those wilting in the heat, Gary said. He told me he would find a place of honor in their art gallery to display the flag and plaque. Gary compared the opening of the museum to the inauguration in 2000 of the World War II Museum in New Orleans. At first, everything in New Orleans was in a small warehouse with a relatively small number of artifacts, but it is now considered one of the finest museums in the world. He also said one of the displays of particular interest to BVA members could well be a monument to the 5,000 military dogs that were left in Vietnam when their handlers were sent home in 1973. Michonne Harrison featured in VA Golf Clinic blog. Michonne Harrison, an enthusiastic participant in nearly everything related to BVA or adaptive sports, was featured in a blog as she enjoyed a variety of recreational events at the National Disabled Veterans Golf Clinic in Iowa City, Iowa. A resident of Fredericksburg, Virginia, and a member of the Mid-Atlantic Regional Group, Michonne attended the clinic, known previously as the T Tournament, for the third time. The blog focused on Michonne's ability to draw parallels between life and golf and then apply those parallels. If the ball goes off a different way or my life takes a different turn, I have to figure out how to get back in it and keep swinging, she was quoted in the blog. In a round of golf, she said you need to look at where you're going rather than where you've been and not let the past define you. Michonne is also an avid kayaker and current member of the Fredericksburg chapter of Team River Runner. At the Disabled Veterans Winter Sports Clinic, where she has attended 4 times, she participates in skiing, scuba, snowmobiling, curling, bowling, fishing, archery, and goalball. In addition to the focus on golf, at the golf clinic, she enjoys the kayaking, horseback riding, fishing, and bowling activities at the annual event. Columbus Chapter walks for PTSD awareness. A photo of 8 blinded veterans accompanies this story. The setting is outdoors on a sunny day, with a wooded area directly behind them. The group is seated for the picture. Two ladies hold up a banner that indicates that it belongs to the Georgia Regional Group. The banner also contains the BVA logo, seal, and website URL. Behind the ladies is a group of 6, 5 men and 1 woman. 2 members of the group of 6 are wearing a mask. The faces are predominantly serious. The caption states, back row left to right, Columbus chapter members Joe McNeil, Clifford Jones, Jonathan Barron, Jerry Bentley, Elizabeth Holmes, and Bobby Hodge. Front row, left to right, holding BVA banner, Sarah and Pat Liddell of the local American Legion Post. The brief report begins. The Georgia Regional Group's Columbus chapter continues to remain active participants in VA and community service events throughout the year. During June's VA Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder Awareness Month, the group participated in a walk stemming from a newly released VA initiative to bring greater awareness to PTSD among veterans. Any individual or team could submit an event using video or photos, the only stipulation being that the activity lasts 30 minutes or more, said Elizabeth Holmes. The Columbus chapter opted for a walk on the 2.2-mile Lake Bottom Park track in the heart of Columbus, and we did not allow the hot weather to dampen our spirits as we accomplished our goal. Ambassadors forge ahead. The second class of BVA ambassador trainees have now completed more than half of the scheduled Zoom educational sessions and are gearing up to take a final exam and finish other graduation requirements. The final training session will be January 17. Remaining topics include VHA prosthetics, VA grants, survivor benefits, claims appeals, continuum of care, ethics and responsibilities, and effective advocacy. The first course was completed last spring. Graduates who were able to attend the national convention were recognized in several meetings and events. BVA ambassadors are the key liaison between blind and visually impaired veterans and BVA's Veterans Service Program. They serve in key roles in the dissemination of valuable benefits information and crucial advocacy tips to help make the most of VA benefits for blinded veterans, including access to visual impairment services teams, blind rehabilitation outpatient specialists, vision impairment services in outpatient rehabilitation programs, vision impairment centers to optimize remaining sight programs, and residential rehabilitation centers, BRCs. BVA ambassadors are also volunteers, serving about 15 hours per week at VA BRC or a blind rehabilitation outpatient program. They accumulate creditable volunteer hours for BVA under the VA Center for Development and Civic Engagement, previously the VA Volunteer Service Program. Although BVA ambassadors are not required to be blinded veterans, the latter have certain advantages as they function in their role. The ideal BVA ambassador candidates are blinded veterans who have successfully completed BRC training and can participate in person either at a BRC, preferred, or at a VA blind outpatient program at their local VA medical center. The candidate must be able to set the example for other blinded veterans by functioning independently, demonstrating and applying the skills they acquired through their training. Look for forthcoming details about the third round of ambassador training. Waymo Accessibility Network includes BVA as inaugural member. BVA has joined 12 other national nonprofit advocates for people with disabilities as a founding inaugural member of the Waymo Accessibility Network. Waymo LLC, an American autonomous technology company formerly known as the Google Self-Driving Project, was a key sponsor of the BVA 77th National Convention, Father Carol Luncheon, August 25. The official announcement is accessible at https://blog.waymo.com/2022/10/launching-waymo-accessibility-network.htm. A Forbes magazine exclusive published October 6 also publicized the launch. Golf outing gives generously to BVA. BVA was again the fortunate beneficiary of proceeds from the Mark Klein Memorial Golf Outing this past July 30 in Norton, Ohio. The event, now 5 years strong and still growing, celebrates the life of a contact lens and spectacle frames sales representative who admired veterans so much that he annually participated in the Rolling Thunder motorcycle ride in memory of all MIAs and POWs. Klein's family and friends, most notably Mark Holliday, Kim Snodgrass, and Rod Snow, organized the annual event in 2018 after his untimely death from a heart attack. The outing resulted in a $10,000 donation this year and generous proceeds the previous years as well. Mark enjoyed golf and the friendships that it creates, so it was logical to have a golf outing in his name, Snow told the Norton Post newspaper in 2018. Kim Snodgrass and Mark Holliday spoke with Mark's widow, Terry, and together they agreed that blending golf, optical/vision, and Mark's respect for veterans made BVA the logical beneficiary for the gift. BVA expresses a heartfelt thanks for the kindness and support demonstrated by all who are affiliated with the Mark Klein Memorial Golf Outing. We have a good time doing this, and being able to honor our friend and assist an incredible organization is almost icing on the cake, said Mark Holliday following this year's outing. Mid-Atlantic RG supports Memorial Brick Program. Two photos are connected to this short summary. The first of the two reveals a lady dressed in dark clothing, including a BVA polo shirt, posing with a broad smile. She is kneeling on her right knee in a grassy area next to a brick sidewalk. Based on the looks of the mortar around a particular brick, it appears that she had just seconds or minutes before set that brick in place. The engraving on the brick contains the name Arnold J. Dottie on one line, USA on the next line, and on the third line, the beginning and ending dates of Arnold Dottie's service. The caption states, Michonne Harrison puts finishing touches on brick honoring Arnold J. Dottie. The second image is a group photo of three ladies, all with faint smiles. The photo includes Michonne once again, and two others with blonde hair and dressed in casual attire. The two appear to have been assisting Michonne with the bricklaying or participating in some other fashion. Michonne is seen standing between the two with separate arms around each. The caption says, Left to right, Kathy Dottie Rowling, Michonne Harrison, Cindy Dottie. Kathy and Cindy are daughters of the veteran for whom the brick was placed. Further details are provided in the following account. In late May, the BVA Mid-Atlantic Regional Group purchased bricks in honor of two deceased blinded veterans from Fredericksburg, Virginia, the late Arnold Dottie and Harold Miller, as a member of the Fredericksburg Area Veterans Council, FAVC, a group composed of local veteran service organizations. Arnold was a member of the regional group, and Harold was a blinded veteran co-worker of Arnold's. More than 25 years ago, a local veteran began doing research on the names listed on the only memorial to veterans in Fredericksburg. The memorial was dedicated to a handful of World War I veterans. After his research, he realized there were many more not listed from World War I who had died in combat, which was a requirement for a name to be listed. In 1999, FAVC approached the city of Fredericksburg with a plan to build a new Fallen Heroes Memorial to include veterans from all eras of service. Once approved, they reached out to corporate and private sponsors to garner support for a new Fallen Heroes Memorial Brick Program, a way to honor deceased veterans who passed away after returning home from the battlefields. The memorial was dedicated on Veterans Day 2008 and currently has almost 400 names of those who died in all periods of war. Bricks line the pathway in front of the memorial and the walkway in front of the flagpole, which is the site of the original World War I memorial.